Hello, and welcome to another in these series of videos from SteamPaper, talking about Steampunk over Ether, the wonderful steampunk virtual festival that we're setting up and running over the weekend of the 25th and 26th of April. We're looking for submissions for that, so if any of you out there are great creating workshops or videos and performing and doing something like that, then we're looking for any kind of content at all, really. We want to make this a big community event. That's what it's all about, is about entertaining the community and bringing the community together over the weekend of the 25th and 26th of April. So the email is up here on news@steampaper.co.uk. So if you have anything or you want to get in touch, then please use that. If you've got a large file, like a big video or something, or a performance, then you can use WeTransfer, which is a very easy website to use. You just put that address in and send your file. I might actually talk about WeTransfer in a future video. I'm certainly going to talk about Patreon, which is a great way of supporting artists and performers and so on in this time, so in one of the future videos. But right now we're very fortunate today to have the wonderful Violet Hugh with us, so I'm just going to introduce her now. So hello, Violet. Hello.
Hello. Hello, darling.
I thought you'd be ready. I thought you'd be ready, and whatever. we have a couple of people already joining us, which is lovely. So you have an audience, darling.
Hello, darlings.
So it's wonderful for you to join us. Now, for those of you who don't know who you are, and I don't know who they could possibly be, but for anybody who doesn't know who you are an artiste, a singing artist who sings wonderful, uplifting songs. I think anyway. And now some people have alleged that your songs are rude, or could be construed as rude, or could be full of that Italian word. What is it? Innuendo. That's it. Innuendo. I mean, how would you describe your music, and how would you respond to these allegations?
Innuendo. So that's a type of pasta. I'm not sure.
Yes, I think it is.
Well, I don't know. All I sing about is lovely things like gardens and tea bags and dogs. I don't understand why people could possibly find anything like that disgracefully disgusting and depraved, as some people have alleged. It's disgraceful.
I know. I mean, you're just so graceful. I can't imagine anybody could think that you would be that sort of person. But anyway, moving on.
It's all in other people's minds, I think.
Yes. It's funny how the mind can alter things to suit your own character. I think that's what it is. It's people's characters. Anyway. So we're going to have a song from you at the very end of this, a pre-recorded song at the very end of this chat. So for those of you who aren't aware of how you perform and what you look like on stage, they'll have a fantastic treat, because you are awesome on stage. You're one of my favourite artists, and you're very, very funny. I think very funny.
I'm getting rather hot here.
I think I should be the one getting hot. But so I want to ask you now. You travel around the country, touring and doing wonderful things for the nation. Performing these songs which are uplifting and edifying. And you must find yourself sometimes. I mean, you tour a lot. You must find yourself sometimes alone. And at the moment, there's lots of us who are perhaps finding ourselves alone at home for the first time. So I was wondering if you've got any tips for what somebody could do to keep themselves occupied when they're at home. I mean, we've all kind of nervous and fidgety, and we have these, busy fingers. How do we keep our busy fingers occupied? That's what I want to know.
I've always said that you must write, darling, because you're never alone in a darkened room with a pen.
Right.
Definitely.
So work it out with a pen is what you're saying.
Yeah, definitely.
I see. What sort of things do you? What sort of things do you do then? Do you write a lot?
I write a lot. I secure myself in my little hole, and I write and I scribble away, and I give myself pleasure, basically.
Yeah,
Yeah.
There's nothing better than
most ladies do than give themselves pleasure whilst they're sitting alone and thinking.
Yes, through the medium of writing.
Of course, yes.
Yes, I actually like Oscar Wilde once said, I don't know how relevant this is, but he was at a party and somebody said, "Are you enjoying yourself?" And he said, "Well, what else is there here to enjoy?" Which I quite liked. Nice little quote there. Anyway, that's not relevant at all. So where was I going to go with this now? So you were saying about how you keep yourself busy. Oh, I know what I was going to say. I was going to talk about the fact that we are doing this interview live on Facebook. So we are taking questions. So if there's anybody watching who wants to ask some questions, then Lady Violet Hugh is here to answer your questions, whatever they may be. We know that in the past you've been a fantastic agony aunt. I remember we were at the Space Centre and we had a wonderful question and answer where you were answering people's questions, and I thought you did wonderfully, by the way. What I wanted to say is now that we're, again, talking about these people, we're kind of having a lot of time on our hands and so on. So do you think it's time we should perhaps spend more time in the garden? Do you think?
Oh, definitely. I think the time now is to trim your bushes, definitely.
Yeah.
Now the warmer weather is here, because you don't want to shock them in the colder weather. But definitely get out there with your secateurs and give everything a jolly good trim. Because that's the problem with isolation. I think the ladies do find that, yes, things do get a bit rather unruly, I think. And I think it's rather important to keep everything in trim, even in these darkened days of isolation.
Okay, so you get out into your garden and give the bushes a good going over. Is that what we're saying?
Definitely, yes.
Yeah.
I always like a good going over, as you know, darling.
So another thing I was going to say was, it probably is a good time then if you're out in the garden and the weather's actually really nice at the moment. It's probably a good time to grow your own veg. I wondered if you had any particular veg that you prefer or you like. Well, I happen to know you do, but is there any particular veg you like? And have you got any tips about them and what's important and what's not?
Well, of course, the cucumbers. I am growing my own at the moment, and so one of my recent soirees in November, I gave out little seeds to everybody. So I'm hoping that some other people are growing their own as well, and we'll have a little competition to see who can grow the biggest whopper at the moment. So I have 2 on my windowsill at the moment, which are rather nice. And yes, I'm growing some courgettes this year as well, and possibly some marrows as well. I like to experiment.
Yes, it's always good to experiment, I think, especially with vegetables. It's a great thing to experiment with vegetables.
From marrows.
So you've been spreading the seed around, basically, is what you're saying?
Yeah.
Yes. That's always good. So, speaking of cucumbers, as we were, I suppose that's quite a good time to talk about your album that your album of songs.
Oh, which one are we talking about, darling? Are we talking about this one or?
Yes, I think that's your latest one, isn't it?
Yes. This is late. Well, that's my EP is actually my latest one. Yes.
Oh, right. Okay.
I just happen to have them on. Yeah, I don't know how they got there, but yes, Morning Glory EP, which yes isn't available on Spotify, but is on Bandcamp at the moment.
Oh, okay.
Lots of other lovely merchandise like my tea towels and things like this that make they're very absorbent. Actually,
that's useful. That's very useful in case you have any spills.
Yes,
unexpected spills.
Yes, absolutely. So if you do want, ladies and gentlemen, then tea towels are available.
Yes, well, I will be putting links up to various things a bit later in this little chat, and I will we'll talk a bit more perhaps about your album towards the end. But I've got a question from somebody now. I think it refers to cucumbers, although it's not specific. It says, "Is length or width more important?"
I would definitely say girth is very important.
Right.
With cucumbers, definitely a smooth skin.
Right.
None of those pimply ones.
No.
Yeah, I think the smoother the better.
Right. Yes.
Ridged is nice. Ridged is very nice.
Yes. They're much better in sandwiches.
Yeah.
So we are, as I say, we are asking for questions. So if any of you out there in Facebook land have any questions for Violet Hugh, she's going to be happily answering them about any subject, I believe. Moving on, another thing we can do while we're at home and with time on our hands, perhaps, is baking our own bread. Now I've heard that you're actually quite the baker. Is that right?
Oh, absolutely. My baps are legendary, darling.
Okay.
Yes, definitely. They're rather floury, but most of the time I can get them to rise.
Yes.
Sometimes you do have a little bit of an accident, and yes, they can be a little bit droopy, I have to say. But on the whole, yes, if you treat them well, they will rise.
Yes, yes. I think that's all about the kneading, isn't it? It's
Mm,
all about kneading them. That's what it's about.
mm,
Yes, yes. That's very important. I've heard
mm.
to get really really nice baps
Up to the knuckles, darling.
up
It's definitely,
up to the
yeah.
knuckles, right? Um, okay. Here's one question here. Have you stockpiled enough gin? I think is the question. Or have you stockpiled the gin?
You can never have enough gin, darling. No, definitely not.
It's funny.
And
That's
all donations are gratefully accepted in gin.
yeah. That's funny.
Definitely.
That's exactly what
Um,
Lady M says. Lady M says
mm,
you could never have enough gin as she
yeah.
staggers out of her warehouse, just managing to shut the door. So yes, yes. So does that mean But have you got enough to get you through?
It depends on whether we're talking about daily or monthly, really. I've probably got enough for tonight.
Well, that's the important. One day I think we have to take all of this one day at a time, really. So
Absolutely.
yeah. Oh, here's another one. So yeah, so going for walks is important at the moment. So, what do you suggest that one does whilst on the downs?
Well, of course, we've all got to go dogging, haven't we, darling? It's the best thing to do. Just bring those dogs and dogging to your heart's delight.
Yes, because
It
of
doesn't
course,
have to be downs. It can be if you, I don't know, in a car park,
yes,
wherever it's convenient.
yes,
But of course, maintain social distancing, ladies and gentlemen.
yes, yes.
Yes.
So, and then you've written a song about that, obviously, called "Dogging on the Downs," which
I
promotes
do, for my first album, yes.
yes, which promotes the idea of walking your dog on the downs. I believe that's entirely what it's about.
That's right. Yeah, that's what dogging means, isn't it?
Yes,
You're
absolutely.
walking your dogs.
Yes,
Yes.
as far as I understand it, anyway.
Yes. It's a
Um,
shame that you can't go dogging in groups at the moment, but ladies and gentlemen, you can have lots of fun with your own pets.
you can, yes, and yes, so you can. Um, so. And the other thing I want to ask you is, are you working on anything new at the moment? Have you got any new material coming up? Have you got any ideas for new songs or?
That is the wonderful thing about being alone with my pen. I do come up with lots and lots of ideas.
Hmm.
I do have a song almost ready to go, which is about boots before corsets, of course, which
Right.
perennial problem. And somebody actually said, "Oh, that's a clean song," which I don't quite understand what they meant by that.
Is it a song about washing hands?
Washing hands, of course, yes, we've all got to wash our hands and remain extremely scrupulously clean, of course.
Is that what they meant by a clean song?
Yes, of
Yes.
course.
So
And possibly I have one in the pipeline about Prince Albert.
it's always good to have one in the pipeline.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, about Prince Albert in particular, which
Yes.
I'm quite enjoying. And yes, and maybe something to stir the nation, I think, is what we
Right.
need. Yes,
Right.
yes. So possibly something that we discussed earlier, I think,
Oh,
about.
right. You mean something to keep the nation's spirits up?
Yes,
Yes,
yes.
yes, because obviously
Exactly.
we're known for our British spunk, so it's yeah,
Exactly.
it's about talking about being able to beat this thing together. I think, if I remember
Yeah,
rightly.
most definitely.
Yes.
Yes. You are rather you're not the first time you've collaborated with me because you gave me all sorts of lovely ideas about my Christmas song. I seem to remember.
Oh yes, yes, yes. That was yeah. I enjoyed that. That was
A
good.
nice time at the Fisherman's Wife. I seem to remember. Yes.
Oh, okay. I can't claim responsibility for that one. At least I'm going to deny all responsibility for that one. So, just seeing, is there any other questions online? Just looking to see. Um, so, what advice do you think you can give people, who are perhaps looking to entertain themselves, or looking perhaps to gather around the piano and sing a few songs?
Well, as I say, it's always a good idea to gather round and bash one out, I think, around the piano. And of course, if you remain 2 meters apart, of course, which is rather good for strengthening the voice because now you have to shout rather
Yeah,
much louder to people, especially if they're hard of hearing.
because
Yes.
obviously in Italy they've been singing from balcony to balcony. So
It's rather.
I think in the UK it would be patio to patio, wouldn't it? Really, I think more the sort of thing. Wander out into your garden and belt one out. Really, I think might be the way to do it.
Yeah, possibly, barbecue for one, sing over your sausages. It would be lovely.
Yeah, I mean, you might be able to drag the old Joanna out for a go. You never know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, if she's willing.
um, so, what advice do you have to people who are perhaps in love at the moment and are having to have a long distance relationship? Do you have any advice for people who perhaps can't see each other other than this way we're communicating now? Really?
Well, this is rather fun, isn't it? I think, yes, person to person, it's rather nice.
Yes.
You can get up to all sorts of things, couldn't you? And also send little things through the post.
Oh, right.
No,
Okay.
send
Little knickknacks. Little knicknacks.
yes, little things,
Yes.
and it's things that just to keep her buzzing.
I see. I see what you're saying there.
Well, the bees don't travel very well, actually. No, that's probably not a good idea. Electric toothbrush is rather a good one.
Well, you got to keep clean. Again, it's all about keeping clean. So,
Absolutely.
so what do you? I can see a question there. I'm going to paraphrase. So, what do you? Now we know you're a great lover of gin. Again, you've written a great song about that, a fantastic song about that. And so, what do you mix it with? What do you put in your gin?
Mix? I'm not aware of this phrase. Mix? No.
So you're a neat kind of girl. You like it straight,
Oh yes, always straight up, me darling.
straight
Yes,
up. Okay, you like
yeah.
it straight up and strong.
As people at a certain steampunk barbecue will remember, I do like my gin straight, and I have been known to drink a whole bottle of Bombay Sapphire in an evening. In fact,
Ah,
yeah.
okay. So is that your preferred tipple?
I think so. Yes, yes. I mean, the purists out there, mentioning no names, would say that you shouldn't have cucumber with Bombay Sapphire.
Mm,
Have it with Hendrix or
mm,
one of the
mm.
other botanicals. But I'm rather partial to cucumber in anything. In
Well,
fact,
I think you should have it the way you like. I think you should have it whatever way gives you pleasure. Frankly, that's what I
absolutely. Well, I actually ended up. Seem to remember something about Madame Zuri and myself dipping a whole cucumber in the gin and then munching upon it that night. It was a very interesting evening.
right. Yes, yes. The pair of you munching. Okay.
Apparently, but yeah, it's slightly hazy for some reason.
Yes, well, I can imagine. I can imagine. So now, you quite often finish your act with a rather impressive vocal feat, a rather impressive thing that you do with your mouth, which is to sing a song all about cake, about several different kinds of cake, and
Yeah,
you sing it at great speed. I believe it's based on is it Gilbert and Sullivan?
it the can
Oh, the can can. Of
from
course, sorry, it's the can can. I was thinking of Major Modern bit general, but it's not that one, is it? It's the can can.
that's another one off the second album. Yes,
Yes, yes, yes, yes. It's the can can, and you get faster and faster.
yes.
Yes, which
It's
is
always that, isn't it?
yeah.
Yes, get those things moving
So yeah,
and your mouth going.
very
Yes,
quickly.
the lyrics are actually on a lovely tea towel here,
Yeah,
which
I'm always very impressed the way you get your tongue around that. To be honest, but there we go. Now you mentioned a lot of different cakes in that song.
Mm,
A lot of different cakes, but what's your favourite cake?
mm. I think possibly my favourite is cream horn.
A cream horn.
Uh, yes, which isn't in my list, which I'm thinking to myself,
Or maybe,
bother.
maybe that's because you don't want anybody else to have one. You want to keep it to
No,
yourself.
yes, yes. Because, well, they do get rather messy, actually, don't you? You get the cream on your chin and everything, and it does get rather messy. You can't eat that neatly, can you?
No, no, you can't. But I mean, sometimes there's something to be said for getting messy. I mean, you know, I think there is. I mean, there's a certain juvenile joy in that. I think.
Mm.
Um,
It can be a little bit antisocial, but
so now, obviously, there's I mean, it's a difficult situation at the moment. We don't have any gigs coming up. But what have you got any future things you're working on? Any other projects at all?
lots of different things in different guises, of course, which you can find if you Google Sharon Canning's vocalist. But other things, yes. I mean, I'm obviously going to get lots of things on Spotify. I'm going to possibly do some more live streaming. Streaming's rather good. Um, and lots of things to occupy myself musically, definitely. Yes, lots of musical collaborations possibly in the pipeline as well.
Okay. There's somebody very cheeky out there. I'm going to put
Uh,
them. I'm going to put the question up on screen. It says, "Well, you're stuck at home. Are you taking this time to learn the words to your songs properly?" That's from Duncan Parker. So you know who to. You know who to. You know who to
Duncan, I
abuse when you see him. Yes.
definitely when I see you next. I don't know what he means. There might be one certain song which I've never got right to
Mhm.
this day. The cake song I normally do get right, but unfortunately now that people have got tea towels, they can actually correct me as I go along, which is
Yeah, that was a tactical mistake. That wasn't it? Putting all the words in the
yeah.
tea towel. But I do.
This is why I bring out a lyric booklet, ladies and
Yeah.
gentlemen,
Now,
because
I do. I do remember your famous song about gin.
mm,
We had a rum evening at. It was very rum actually. It was very very rum
it's
in
Whitby.
Whitby. Yes,
Yeah,
and you decided to rewrite the song to be about rum. But
yeah.
unfortunately, whilst the words were changed, your brain was not.
No, no,
I
that
think.
was probably a case of my mouth doing something rather different to the rest of my body,
Well,
definitely.
yes. I mean, but actually, that's that just shows you how much you're obsessed with gin, really, basically.
I think it does,
Yeah.
yes. I have it on the brain,
So,
yes.
so we've had a couple of comments. So Claire is asking, is the towel exceptionally absorbent?
Definitely.
Yes.
And washable, so it's actually reusable, darling.
Oh, okay. So washable.
Yeah,
Okay. All
yeah.
right.
Don't flush them. Don't flush the tea towels, darling.
Okay. And Malika is asking you. We asked you about your favourite cake. She's asking, surely your favourite cake would be beefcake.
Well,
That's rude. That is, I think.
yes, yes. Obviously Malika's, obviously. Yeah, she likes a bit of beefcake, doesn't she?
So I'm told. So I'm told. Um, oh, and Claire again. She says you're also known to be fond of a sandwich, apparently.
Of I'm always up for a sandwich, darling. Is she offering?
Sorry, I don't know. I mean, she might be offering to make you one. Who knows? Who knows? Maybe a cucumber sandwich would be quite nice.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
yes,
Nice with cucumber in the middle. Yeah.
yeah. So just looking to check, we haven't got any other questions. Yeah. So you were talking about different things you're working on doing. So can we expect another? I mean, you've said just show us the EP again, because that's not something I've got an image of.
Morning glory,
Morning
yes.
Glory, yes. And how
Yeah.
many tracks does that have?
That's an EP, that one. So that one's £5 instead of £10 in at Bandcamp. Did I mention Bandcamp? Yeah. This one's got Who is the Greatest Tosser?
All right.
Glory Hole,
Yes.
Company Fair, which is the one which I rather usually get wrong, and a remix of Lovely Baps as
Okay.
well.
Oh, a remix.
Yes,
Oh,
yes,
that's
which I'm
cool.
performing live now, which is a little bit more of a, I think it's a flowery remix. Yes, flowery Baps remix. Yes,
Well, that's very modern of you. Remixes and all
absolutely.
that. I mean,
I'm going to this all electric swing type thing. Well, if it
Yeah.
works for the prof, then it works for me.
Yeah.
But yes, I've definitely going to release a full album now that I've got the time on my hands, as it were.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And of course, you often work with your other half on these things,
Yes,
Martin Nichols. Is that right?
yes.
So,
He's stowed himself upstairs at the moment.
okay. So, and he's I know he often plays a fantastic guitar. Does he provide? What else does he do on your albums? Does he do other work on there?
Um, it's usually pretty much a one lady show,
Oh, okay.
actually.
So you
Yeah.
do most of the music and everything yourself?
No, yes, on the
Gorgeous.
ballad of Connie Lingus, I think I've got a little bit of electric guitar on there.
All right. Okay.
So he spanks his plank, as he likes to call it.
Is that what he calls it? Guitar player. Okay.
Right.
All right.
Yes.
So, I mean, that's you see, you're mega talented then. So does Martin do his own stuff then? Does he go off and do his own things?
When I let him,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's one of the hairiest and darkest Bjorns there is out there.
Yes, I was going to mention the fact that in a couple of other what's the word, aliases. That's probably not the right word, but you are a member of an ABBA band with
Yes.
Martin, which
Yeah.
I have yet to see. Partly because I'm not a huge fan of ABBA. But
Dreadful.
I know, it's terrible, isn't it? But also, I think you've done a Pink Floyd tribute band in the past as well,
Yes, yes, yes.
which I'd really like to see. I've seen some videos, and yeah, that looks awesome. And also, I think you do 70s and disco and that sort of thing, and rock vixen. Is that
We've
right?
got disco, we've got Dance Floor Inferno and Rock Vixen as
Mm-hmm.
well. Yes, Rock
Cool.
Vixen
Yeah.
is a 80s sort of tribute, and yes, we'll do some originals with Canda Craig as well,
All
which
right.
is
Yeah, tell me
the
about that because that's something I know you've mentioned a couple of times, and I haven't had a chance to catch up with. So, what's Canada Cray?
we can find it on Facebook,
Yeah.
and yeah, we're still writing at the moment. We
Mm-hmm.
started writing this 25 years ago,
Okay. And what
and
style of music is it? What sort of music?
prog folk,
Prog folk.
prog folk, yeah.
Awesome. That sounds really interesting. I like
Hmm.
that. Um, okay. Carl just mentioned Carl Burnett's just come up with a comment. Not a fan of ABBA. Sacrilege. Yes, I'm sorry, Carl. I'm sorry, but I'm not. So what can I say? Uh,
Yes,
I know. I'm the sole
um,
voice in the wilderness, but yes. Anyway. Um, Good. So I think I don't know whether we've got any other questions. Whether anybody else is going to ask anything. Oh yes, that's right. Now you do have a hidden talent I happen to know about that you brought to light once. You brought it on stage and stunned everybody, and that was glass playing.
oh, when I was fingering my rims,
You were
yes.
fingering your rims, as I understand it. Yes, yes.
Yes, rather musical. Yes, we get a tune out of them most of the time, darling. Yes.
Now remind me, what song did you play? I'm just trying to remember.
Harry Potter theme tune and
Of course,
badly, and oh, the Elephant Man
the Elephant
theme
Man.
tune.
Okay.
Yeah.
And was that must have been quite difficult to set up, I would imagine.
Yes, yes, you've got to get your fingers the right moistness. Yes, not easy.
Right.
Squeeze instead of yes.
Okay.
Don't put it scraping. No, you want a nice smooth
Yes.
rim.
And they've all got to be filled the right amount and laid out
Yeah,
correctly. And
fun if you do it with gin, because then you thought, no, that's definitely a little bit too much in there. And
yeah, but
yeah.
I can't help thinking you'd then end up with a load of empty glasses and you wouldn't get much of a tune out of them.
Yes, yes. I did get everyone fingering their rims that night, didn't I? Yes.
Well, I think that's something we could all do, isn't it? Really.
Yes, well,
I
you
mean,
can do it at home.
yeah, we've
Yes.
all got glasses in our house. We've all got some form of liquid in our house. We could fill them up and make a musical instrument, and we could all finger our rims, basically.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, all together. That would be quite nice. So maybe we should do. Maybe we should have a massed. Yes. Anyway, maybe we should do that en masse, and that could be something we could do for the festival. Yeah.
Yeah,
Anyway,
that'd be lovely.
yes, I think so. Anyway, it's been. I think it's been lovely chatting to you. I must admit, it's always nice to chat to you. And I'm going to finish by playing one of your videos, but first. I'm just going to say thank you very much and give everybody the opportunity. And of course, to remind people that we're doing this for Steampunk Over Ether, which is up there. Hang on, there it is. Yeah, 25th, 26th of April. And to submit if you can submit anything you want to submit, new videos and all sorts of things to news@steampaper.co.uk.
And remember Spotify links, yes. So
Yes.
keep moving gin by streaming me every day.
Yes, I'll be mentioning those in a moment. I'm just I'm going to have to switch views for that, but I'll be playing us out with a video. So for now, thank you very much, Violet Hugh, and I'm sure we will talk again at some point over the medium of the ether, over the ether.
Be very happy to come again, darling.
Oh, that's so kind of you. So kind of you. All right. And yes, thank you very much, Violet Hugh.
Thank you.
Cheerio. So that was Violet Hugh. And just to remind you of her album, which is the last album she brought out, which was Violet Hugh Make Mine a Large One, which has a number of tracks on it, and really good songs, actually, very, very good songs. There's also a EP which she mentioned, which is Glory Hole, and For Your Oral Pleasure was the first one, I believe. Now, I'm just going to hide that and show you the 2 links. So she's on Bandcamp. So if you want to support her, go to Bandcamp and you can learn all about her. And also, she's on Facebook, of course. So you can pick up and like her page and follow her on Facebook. So do give us some support. And I'm going to finish now by playing you a performance from Violet Hugh, which I hope you all enjoy. And it is it's entitled Lady Garden. So let me set that up now. Oh, no.
This song is all about my garden. You were admiring my clematis from across the thoroughfare. It really is a lovely one. I don't mind if you stare. Why don't you come on over and have a cup of tea? Come on in and look around. There's so much more to see. Come into my lady garden. Won't you come inside? I've trimmed it to perfection. I'm bursting out with pride. I've loved and lost 1,000 times. I'll wager, so have you. So come into my lady garden. There's room enough for 2. It really smells quite lovely. It invades your every sense. Be careful not to lose yourself. The foliage is dense. Now I lost a pair of shears in there with handles made of teak. Now I've lost my poor dear pussycat. Now she's been gone a week. Come into my lady garden. Won't you come inside? I've trimmed it to perfection. I'm bursting out with pride. I've loved and lost 1,000 times. I'll wager, so have you. So come into my lady garden. There's room enough for 2. I'll wager, so have you. So come into my lady garden. There's room enough for 2. So come into my lady garden. There's room enough for 2.
Thank you. Enjoy the rest of the show.
The lovely Violet Hugh there with Lady Garden, a wonderful song performed there live. So yes, just to recap, please check out Violet Hugh on Bandcamp and on Facebook. And we'll be back probably tomorrow night, and we'll hopefully going to be talking with Tom and Nimoy Brown about Hopeless Maine and that project, and about other things going on. We'll be doing a few more videos over the next few days and over the next week, over the few weeks, building up to Steampunk Over Ether, 21st, 26th of April. So once again, a call out for any content that you might want to provide or take part in the festival. Just send it to news@steampaper.co.uk and look out for the next video. Thanks very much. Cheers.